Hello, good afternoon. It's been weird sort of a couple days. I made a video yesterday about how do we begin to feel energy. And I utilized nature to feel the energy in nature and how you feel inside your body in nature. And, you can watch that video. I don't need to go over the whole technique that I was showing. And then I decided I wanted to ask Guruji if he has a certain technique that he teaches people how to feel energy. And he said, well, first you have to know what kind of energy they want to feel. There are many different energies. Tantric energy, Vedic energy, yoga energy, natural energy, nature, the energy of nature, and such. And I had not really thought of it like that because to me, underlying all of that is Shakti is one thing. But the energies of different things are very different. And the one thing he said that really resonated is he said, I can't answer that question until I know what kind of person they are. You have to tell me what kind of person that person is that I'm trying to teach it to. And I thought about it for a while and I said, well, what about if so many people can't feel their own energy? And he says he has a technique and he'll teach it to me, but he hasn't done that yet. I'm not going to teach it here anyway. It'll be something I do in person or in private with someone, in a private session. But I have to test it myself first to make sure that I understand the fullness of it once he teaches it to me. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is when you're coming, and I've said this so many times, when you're coming to learn something from someone who you think knows something. And a lot of people think I know something because they keep coming to me and asking me to teach them things. And that's fine and dandy. But the people can't just come in and say, teach me energy. You as a sadhaka, as a practitioner, sadhana means someone who's doing a spiritual practice daily and utilizing it to go deeper within themselves to find that resonance within that tells them that connection to something more, to God, if you want. And so you need to be so interested in that you know how you want to experience it or what you want to experience, what you want from it really, because the experience is always going to be different than you think it's going to be. So if you're going to come to someone and ask their opinion, or ask them to teach you in general. So what I would do for me, because I started with Ashtanga Yoga, and it gave me a very solid base. Ashtanga Yoga not meaning the eight-limbed philosophy system. Sorry, my tongue is tied. But it meaning the Ashtanga asana practice, the vinyasa system that started vinyasa yoga around the globe. I believe because you're moving and you're breathing so much that it stirs up your energy that's been stagnant for a while. It stirs up your circulation, so you get circulation in places. You will feel places in your body you haven't felt in years or maybe never, and especially if you've never exercised. But it's also at the same time very grounding. When I was studying Kundalini Yoga, it has some amazing techniques that rise your energy, that move your energy into all the corners of your body. But it also is not a grounding practice. It takes you up and out, up and out, up and out, up and out. And we are here in a body to experience the body. Now the techniques I can use with some people if they have a grounded practice already, grounded sadhana already. But I would prefer to start someone with Ashtanga Yoga. Not even a lot, just Surya Namaskara A, Surya Namaskara B, maybe a Shirshasana headstand, and maybe the Padmasana sequence at the end to begin, and do that for some time until they feel like they need more. Because it's very grounding, and it gets Surya Namaskara. Surya is the sun, the power of the sun. It gets this energy of warmth, of heat, of Surya in your body. My friend who teaches at Sharat Joyce's center here, they told me they were having them do so many Surya Namaskaras where I learned 3 and 3, 5 and 5 sometimes. 5 and 3 was what it was the last thing I was practicing when I practiced in person with Sharat. But they were having them do like 15 A's and like 10 B's and sometimes more depending on the person. Because they want the energy of the sun to get inside their body first. Because then you have energy to do more. And Surya Namaskara can be a complete practice on its own. But the one thing that is amazing to me about it is it's bringing the energy into you. So your Agni, your inner fire, gets stoked. It's bringing that energy of Surya into your being. But it also somehow grounds you. And I think it's because it moves you through your hips and your lower back, and you have to learn to lift your pelvic floor, your Mula Bandha, and your lower belly sucked up and back, Uddiyana Bandha, so that you can stay stable in your spine. And it starts to, just that movement starts to move your spine from the root of the spine all the way up to the top. It's pretty amazing that it grounds you at the same time, because it seems like it should take you up and out just like the Kundalini Yoga did. But it does more than that. And I think it's because your feet have to be really rooted on the earth. Mula Bandha roots into the earth as much as it pulls up from the earth. So I would start someone with that. See how they do with that, with the breathing. I always teach people how to breathe properly and then have them start moving, because I want them to breathe properly while they're doing the movement. Because without the breath moving, your prana does not get stirred up inside your body, and it can stay stagnant. The breath is what connects to the prana, connects the prana from the inside of the body and the outside of the body. So it's getting the Shakti coming in, but it's also getting the Shakti that's already there, moving, stirred up, open, flowing. Flowing is the best word. And then I would see where we go from there. For some people it could be a mantra. Some people it could be sitting in nature and feeling the fullness of nature in their body. For some people it could be the opposite of what they think they want. So you got a person who's addicted to exercise, like a type A personality. They want to do and do everything perfectly and do it well and blah, 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 blah. That person probably needs to sit more and be quiet, or to sit and chant a mantra in their mind only, so that they get this stability in their mind and their body learns how to settle, which would be great, because if you're one of these do people, it'll bring balance. And this is all about balance. It's also about knowing when to allow imbalance to be there. It's not just one or the other, it's about all of it. It's about realizing that the God that you're trying to worship outside you is inside you. And if you're doing a puja meaning prayer, and a puja being a ritual that's done inside Hindu temples to invoke the deity that lives in the stone that's there, so that you can experience it, so you can have darshan, so that you can see one another in your eyes to their eyes in the murti. Because you want to realize that God, Deva, Devi, that lives inside that stone is also inside you here. And there's no reason you can't experience that. And if you get grounded in the body, and you know the body so well that you are able to feel every little corner of it, then you have to start sort of disidentifying with the body a little bit, so that you feel the energy in the body and know that that energy is something more. But you also have to know yourself. And so when you come to someone and ask them to teach you, you really have to know what you want to be taught. Because some people want to be lazy and do all this. No, it's going to be hard because you can't be lazy. You have to, if you're chanting a mantra, you have to chant the mantra daily. You have to sit at a similar time daily and do it for however long you've been given to do it. If you're being taught to go sit in nature and feel the earth beneath your butt and feel the grass touching your flesh on your legs and your hands and start to feel the natural energy within your body, then you have to really do that, and you have to do it daily. If you're being taught Surya Namaskara or any version of asana practice, you have to be willing to do it daily as per the prescription you've been given, so that it will start to do what it's supposed to be doing. So I started with Ashtanga Yoga, and I think I will probably use it as a tool to begin the practice of Tantra, of sadhana, with whatever sadhana that means, with anyone who comes to me. Maybe I won't. Let's see how it goes. It'll be different with each person. It is different with each person. I teach some people already. But I very often start with the sadhana practice, or the asana practice, and learning how to make the breath movement become a sadhana within you. So, just one little more thing to say. Get to know yourself, get to know what you're looking for in life. You can't really request anything from the universe until you know what it is you want. And so how are you going to go to another person and ask them a general question when you need to know a little bit more about what you're willing to put into it and get from it? And then they're probably going to give you something you didn't want anyway, or more than you wanted, or less than you wanted, because they see something in you that you don't see in yourself, that you need it in a different way. You need to have an experience and be willing to have an experience in a different way than you think. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for listening if you've listened this far, and just thank you in general for having an interest. I appreciate it. Ciao.